on the case, and they're really falling over each other as they come into clearways. Getting down the inside, brilliant move by Getty. Contact, and that has put Bradshaw out of the race immediately. And I just don't think Bradshaw realised that Getty was going to come down the inside. You can see him thump the steering wheel there in disgust, understandably upset. Tom Bradshaw, very fast in single-seaters last year in Formula Palmer Audi. I wonder if that is going to cause a safety car. We've already got 34 laps of this race, so that's going to make it a very long, warm afternoon.
Vikers in fifth. And let's just take a little look back at the incident, Simon.
Well, Getty just gets the car across early. Look how deep Tom Bradshaw is. And frankly, I mean, that's almost front wheel to door. So I'd say that's more of Bradshaw turning in on Getty than vice versa. I don't think Tom was expecting it. Maybe he ran a little bit wide. And you look how far alongside Glenn Getty is. So I think if I was Glenn, I'd be a little bit aggrieved that that had happened. I can understand why Tom would be disappointed, but
sure, they have been briefed. It's just that maybe they didn't pay much attention. So Tom Bradshaw's car is about to be pulled out of the way and hopefully to a place of safety, but it's sort of well dug in, and it looks as though it's still in gear as well, which doesn't help. Why aren't the front wheels turning? Don't know about that. Maybe the gravel's jamming the caliper, but for whatever reason it's just being dragged through the gravel rather than rolling across it at the moment, and the safety car still leading them round with Tim Bridgman from Tim Harvey. Great start that was from Tim Harvey on the third spot of the grid, and he did exactly what he wanted to do, which was get
near the front. Certainly wouldn't. The Marshals have got a job in hand now, haven't they?
They have. That doesn't look very easy. That's it's not exactly a lightweight single seater. Well, we've got plenty of guys there. Marshals, as ever, doing a fantastic job to try. Oh, the lorry's got stuck. That's what the problem is. And that's because, I'm sure that's because the Porsche itself all seems to be fully locked up. Those things would normally pull it out easily, but the Porsche is all locked up and the wheels are not turning, and therefore it's dug itself in. Well,
yeah, you made a point earlier. Clearly it looks like it's still in gear, which is understandable because Tom's obviously just jumped out of the car as it stopped, as it were. It's quite difficult sometimes to get the car back to neutral because sequential racing gearboxes, instead of whereby in a normal H-pattern gearbox that we would mostly use in our road cars, you put your foot in the clutch and just knock it into neutral or knock it down one gear. Here you have to go from, I would imagine, I think they're in third gear probably for that point there. They'd have to go second first, and then there's a little collar that you pull up on the third gear. And that hence obviously the guys have not been able to do that. So my suggestion, just from observing, Ben, I don't know what you think, but might be get the driver in there to sort the job out.
That would be a good plan, yes. See if they can get it put in neutral. They need to be towing it from the tarmac, I think. That's what they need to be doing so that they can actually get some purchase on the thing. But then, of course, they've still got to get it out of the way. So maybe... I think we're going to get the same problem here. Are we going to get a bit more movement going? Oh, it's almost as exciting as watching the race, isn't it?
Oh, look at this. It's like the ultimate tug of war. Who's going to win, the Porsche or the Unimog? I think two German giants of traction. We always know that Porsches, of course, are renowned for their traction because they're pure rear-wheel drive as opposed to mid-engine. But in this instance, it doesn't seem to be helping, does it, really?
It takes quite a lot to make a Unimog get stuck, actually. So it just shows you how hard this is proving to be. So while we're enjoying the fun and games over there at Clearways, and the fans over there are getting a nice view of what is proving to be a somewhat difficult recovery situation, Tim Bridgman's quite happy because he's still leading this race. Under safety car it might be, and it might add a lap or two, but there will be a time limit as well. So it came into play yesterday, didn't it, Simon? We had a couple of safety car periods yesterday in the first race, which Tim Bridgman went on to win pretty straightforwardly, didn't he?
He did indeed, and there's a couple of places you can see.
Ah, success.
Yeah, success at last. You can see that Tim Bridgman was a bit quicker in places, and it was only about half a tenth to a tenth, if that, a lap, but he's over 30 odd laps. That's an awful lot of advantage that you can gain very quickly by doing that. So certainly an impressive performance by Bridgman. Remember, of course, he comes off the back of winning the final race here at Brands Hatch last year and was on pole position at this time last year for the opening round. Had a disastrous weekend, had contact with Sam Hancock in race 1, and then had a very spectacular accident in race 2 with a tyre failure. But certainly the Team Parker Racing driver is looking very strong this season. The Car sponsored car